Wugong City, Central District. After erupting from the hospital, the red poisonous mist began to spread outward in all directions. In just under an hour, the red mist had expanded 6 to 7 kilometers, more ferocious than wildfire. Every area swallowed by the red mist had turned into complete ruin. Any living being that came into contact with it would die within 2 minutes, dissolving into a puddle of blood. Even non-living objects were corroded and riddled with holes by the toxic red mist. At this rate, within a single day, the mist could consume the entire city and turn it into a dead zone. At that moment, on the rooftop of a tall building near the city lord's mansion, Li Wenqing and Qian Jin stood atop the rooftop, staring at the red mist that continued to spread in the distance, both with helpless expressions. They had tried everything, mobilizing people, resources, and force, to stop the mist spread, but nothing worked. Many lives were lost in the attempt. Now, they were completely in despair. Unless the red mist stopped on its own, there was no way to prevent this disaster. But would the red mist stop? Judging by its momentum, it clearly wouldn't stop until it had devoured the entire city. Your Highness, Wugong City is beyond saving. We should leave, Qian Jin advised once again. They had tried all possible countermeasures, but the situation was now far beyond human capability. Sigh, looks like there really is no other way. Li Wenqing sighed heavily. Your Highness, you've already done everything you could. There's no need to carry the burden anymore, Qian Jin said softly, bowing his head slightly. It's a bit of a pity, but the good news is that both Lin City and Liang City have suffered the same red mist outbreak. My 2 younger brothers should be just as powerless. That puts us all back at the same starting line, Li Wenqing said with a meaningful look in his eyes. When he first heard about Wugong's red mist outbreak, his initial reaction was despair. But after learning that Lin City and Liang City were also hit, he was secretly relieved. At least now, he wasn't the only one to be blamed. Everyone was in trouble. He still had a shot at staying in the race for the throne. This was probably the only good news he'd heard recently. Your Highness is absolutely right. This is a natural disaster. With things escalating to this point, it's clearly beyond human control. His Majesty will surely understand, Qian Jin said in agreement. It's about time. Let's go. Li Wenqing didn't say much more. Just as he was about to turn and leave, he caught a glimpse of something at the edge of his vision, what looked like a shooting star across the sky. Li Wenqing paused and focused his gaze. He saw a glowing streak approaching fast, headed straight for Wugong City. Within just a few breaths, the meteor had already flown above the city and landed directly in the middle of the red mist. Uncle Qian, look at the sky. Is that a person? Li Wenqing asked uncertainly. Yes, Your Highness. That's definitely a person, Qian Jin answered after taking a careful look. What's he trying to do? He's not seriously planning to enter the mist to save people, is he? Li Wenqing frowned. Among his subordinates, there were no shortage of Grandmaster-level experts. Temporary flight wasn't that uncommon, but even Grandmasters were helpless against the red mist. If they were tainted by it, they could very well lose their lives. Just another ant trying to shake a tree. Your Highness, don't concern yourself with him, Qian Jin said, shaking his head. Just as his voice fell, the figure in the distance moved. A radiant light suddenly burst out from the figure's body, illuminating the sky. Then he pointed toward the heavens. Buzz! With a thunderous roar, a massive vortex of energy appeared in the sky. The vortex was at least 100 meters wide, filled with flashing lightning and howling gales. Suddenly, the vortex began spinning rapidly. A terrifying suction force burst forth from within it. Within a 10-kilometer radius, fierce winds howled, centered around the vortex. Even Li Wenqing and Qian Jin, standing atop the rooftop, could feel a powerful force pulling at them. What terrifying pressure! Who is this divine being? Li Wenqing and Qian Jin's expressions changed dramatically, their eyes filled with shock. With just a wave of his hand, he created a vortex of such immense size and pressure, it was unheard of. Could it be the legendary expert from Longhu Mountain? Buzz! The massive vortex gave another roar. At the same time, the red mist, stretching for several kilometers, began to shrink rapidly. It looked as if a divine dragon was sucking in water. The faster the vortex spun, the stronger the suction became. Massive amounts of red mist were forcibly pulled into the vortex. Within just 5 minutes, the enormous red mist vanished like receding tides, gone without a trace, completely devoured by the vortex. Once the red mist disappeared, the vortex faded as well, leaving behind only a blood-red orb floating in the air. The figure in the sky reached out across space and pulled the orb into his hand. Then, like a meteor, he flew off in another direction at lightning speed. Within moments, he had vanished from sight. All that remained behind were stunned gazes, frozen in shock.
And just can't accept it. This can't be the